Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection for those, our servicemen and women throughout the world, and for those who have passed away in our community, especially Rudy Casarda, and to my friend Nancy Evans. We're sorry to hear the loss of your sister, Carol Baker. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Present.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Dr. Rothchild? Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mr. Smurl?
Here. Dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Third order, 3A, memorandum dated February 11, 2025, from the Business Administration regarding a check for deposit from Comcast to the City of Scranton. 3B, minutes of the Historic Architecture Review Board meeting held January 9, 2025.
Are there any comments on any of the third order items? If not, received and filed. Do any council members have any announcements at this time?
I have a quick one. So this Friday, from 5 to 8 at Kilcoynes, the Ancient Order of Hibernian Ladies, Division 4, will be having their guest bartending fundraiser they have every year. So please come out and support them. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. Anyone else?
Fourth order, citizen participation.
First, Joan Holwanis.
Was it cold today or what? Which, I was watching the ABC weather forecast, and, Kurt, what's his name, is talking about bundle up the little kitties tomorrow because it's going to be, with the wind chill, below zero. So my question is, have we worked out all the kinks in our Code Blue program so that we're not going to have people outside in sub-zero wind chill tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know what their plan is there. I knew the new administrator came back to Keystone, but I don't know all the details.
I'm really hoping that, there's no problems with Weston Field and that the staffing is no longer an issue, and that we have worked out and we have made sure that the homeless community is aware of where they should go once they're kicked out of Weston Field.
Yeah, John, the new administrator, he's coming in 2 weeks. He was supposed to come this for a caucus this coming Tuesday, but he's unable to make it, so the following week he'll be here.
Yes, but this has been a brutally cold winter after the last few mild winters that we've had. And it bothers me because having been homeless, I know what it's like. Okay, and if we cannot, as a city, take care of those people, then shame on us. We do a lot of things that are nice to have and nice to do. This who's public safety anyway? Okay, if you would, just keep your eye on that, how that's going, because that bothers me.
Well, I did inquire a couple weeks ago when staffing was an issue about the certification process to be a volunteer, and we did receive correspondence. I think we should probably have them put it on the website, how to obtain that certification. If when they don't have enough volunteers, maybe this could be an option to help.
Yeah, well, I will tell you though that I think the city has a moral responsibility to keep their eye on that kind of situation and be proactive. Because it wouldn't be beyond me to, see something in the paper or on the TV news, they find a corpse out there. Sub-zero wind chills are nothing to laugh at for either the young or the old, so just my 2 cents. I was happy to see the more scaffolding and the netting coming down, especially here on the Mulberry Street side. But you look up on this side and the floors above, it appears there's plywood in the windows. What's that all about? I mean, can we pay for windows?
No, the stained glass windows are gone. They're gone to be repaired, all of them.
Okay, so we plan to be putting the windows back in and
Yes,
getting
the
rid
same
of
as
the
when
plywood.
the entranceway down here and the stairs.
Yeah.
They were all redone. This is also part of the project.
Okay, we're going to fix the steps at the main entrance, City Hall, the middle steps that have been cordoned off for years.
I know they are working, the ones that are covered
Yeah.
are, I believe they're drying.
It's the center, no, it's the center entrance. It's been taped off for years, you know, you can't
Yeah.
walk up that.
I know
we
they're
ought to
working on
fix
the
that.
They are working on the stairs, so I don't know
Okay.
exactly where, but they are on that.
Hopefully, one of these days, we'll get entrance back into the interior of the building once we fix the outside. Just want to point out, the other week I talked about the tech table at the Scranton Public Library on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 5 to 7 p.m., if you want some help with your devices. For those people who need more help than you can get in the 2-hour window with other people being there, we have a computer lab at the Scranton Public Library, and they can help you with setting up a new device, learning to use a new program, troubleshooting any of your apps, updating your settings, setting up privacy settings and security, and teaching you how to use all your devices in depth when you need more than an hour or two assistance. So if you're interested in that, make an appointment by calling 348-3000, extension 3038. I mean, it's a free service, and if you're going to invest money into technical devices, you might as well get the professional training free of charge. So just wanted to pass that on. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Bob Bolus?
Evening, Council. Mr. President, may I approach a moment?
Okay.
Miscounted. What this is, what I presented is, it's called the Freedom of Petition, to learn about your right and how to use it. And the purpose I brought this tonight is, Mr. King, last week, all due respect, you had mentioned the petitions, the 25,000 signatures that I brought in, that it had nothing to go with it. Well, this is what I presented up there, is what it's about. The Bob Wallace Environmental Group, we're filing to get changed back to the Central Scranton Expressway and Spruce Street, and actually off 81. It wasn't attached to all the petitions that I supplied here, so this will make it where it's a clear understanding when it says the freedom of petitions, the right and how to use it. So what it is basically, those were electronic signatures that are in there. It would be, in a sense, if I turned around, and I have offices in Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and other parts of the Middle East and Japan and all, I would have to send by carrier pigeon a signed document if we weren't able to do the modernization we have today with electronic signatures. So that's what validates the petitions that I, bless you, that's what I presented, so we have a clear understanding that validated those while they're here, and they were all done by electronic signatures. So I hope that clears up everything that we needed to do.
Well, I know in business, I have an electronic signature that goes on the documents that I submit with proposals, and it's an actual, my signature that is then superimposed on the document. I didn't see any of that.
Well, they're presented the way they came. People submitted them on there. It's
It was just a
basically
list
they're
of
submitting
names
them.
with addresses.
Yeah, well, they're valid,
nothing.
the way they were put, and that says, well, I gave you the freedom of petitions and how to write and how to use them. So they are valid, but that's,
We disagree then.
well, that's why I brought it in to clear up, so we have no questions on it. If we have to let the courts decide, I asked for a motion to remove the signs, and of course, that's the right of council to decide whether to remove them or not. And if we have to, naturally, it'll be done in a courtroom down the road. But I want to mention passing of Glenn Gress that passed away this week. And we lost one of the pillars of society here, one of the best friends I ever had in this community. And he'll be sorely missed on what he's done for everybody in the community.
Mr. Bowles, who was that? Glenn who?
Pardon?
Oh, Glenn Gress? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I didn't hear.
Yeah, and to get fees on nonprofits, what I'd suggest is that we put a fee on police, public service, fire, and add a fee to them that gives us a heck of a lot more money off the nonprofits that we're not getting today. We could create a fee, a smoke fee, an environmental fee, but we could put it on and let's start getting more money in our coffers. The hospitals, the medical college, I suggest we let the medical college separate from Geisinger and the corporate structure, buy the college, the two hospitals out, let medical college do it. There's all kind of funding out there, modernization, all. We don't need to be bought out by somebody from out of the area and take over our health care, and we need to push that. Let's take care of ourselves where we don't have to leave the area to go somewhere else. And I still have disinfectant wipes for people who didn't get any. We're donating them out. For anybody that wants them, they just call my office at 346-7659. Come pick them up. We donated 3 pallets today to All Saints Academy, where I hold my Christmas Day dinner. And we try and do as much in there. I mean, I'm dealing with a fire that destroyed my whole company and everything else, but I still believe in helping as many people in the community. We got trucks still on the road out in the Carolinas, Tennessee now. We're taking care of as many people out there as we can that have been hit with the disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
And I do have to leave. I have another meeting I got to get to, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good night.
Norma Jeffries?
Hi, Norma Jeffries, Scranton resident. And could I get a clarification on the public caucus? I had on my calendar that Keystone was going to be here. Did you say that they
They're going to
changed
be here the next week, but
Yeah.
the gentleman cannot make it. He's going to be here the following week.
March? That's going to be into March? Then it'll be the first Tuesday of March?
Yes, first Tuesday in March, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Norma Jeffries, a Scranton resident, and I'm going to be short tonight because I don't want to cry. It doesn't take much to get me crying when I'm happy. So I have to start off by giving just a huge, huge thank you to the community for the outpouring this weekend with our food drive, our Valentine weekend food drive. I've been doing this for 4 years, and this was just over the top. I was a little concerned, as the week went on with the weather and whether it was going to snow on Saturday, whether it was going to be ice and sleet on Sunday, and with the economy, with just eggs and everything is just so high at the stores. I was concerned whether we were going to get enough. I'd already contacted 4 different groups that were ready to take and come and get the food. And, so as a organizer of things like that, your mind starts thinking, what if this, what if that, what if nobody comes? Well, people started, I think last week when I said about if you think you can't make it, to call our phone number and leave messages there. But people started to leave messages, and not messages, but food at our door. They came up on Friday. I was up there on Friday because I was just getting the last minute things together. And they were up there, people were bringing food. And this one lady came, she said, I don't have much. She had 2 cans of soup in her. See, I'll get emotional about it because she just felt she wanted to contribute in some way, and she gave her 2 cans of soup. So for those 2 cans of soup, all the way up to cases of soup that some people bought, council was there, all of my compadres here from council were there. People even came up and said, where's Norma Jeffries? Because they heard me on ECTV, or they watched council, and they wanted to just say thank you. And, don't thank me, just thank yourselves for being a participant in bringing the food. The people, I get emotional. The people started to come up, the organizations, there were 4 of them that got food. 3 of them came up yesterday, and they were just overwhelmed. Their trucks were filled with food, as well as the back seats of their cars. And 2 had 2 cars, and they filled up both their cars with food. It was more food than I've ever seen in the 4 years that I've been doing this. And for the cereal, we got over 100 boxes of cereal. And I thought, what are we going to do with all the cereal? But guess what? They were each one of the organizations were very just thrilled with getting the cereal, because I just thought about when my sons were home, they ate cereal for snacks, but of course it was a lot cheaper then than it is now. So I just wanted to give a big thank you to the community for all of those that came and gave it what they could. And those that picked it up were thrilled, and they were so excited and thankful. And a big thank you to everyone that participated and helped us out this weekend. Thank you.
Next, Mark Ordelli.
Good evening, Mr. President, Council. Mark Cordelli, Lackawanna County. A few items I'd like to share with everybody with regards to the events that are going on throughout Lackawanna County. This Saturday, February 22nd, from 2 to 4 at the Garden of Cedar, located at 715 Cedar Avenue, is going to be a celebration of loved ones and in support of a special countywide Shelter for All project. You can stop by with the loved one or loved ones to get a caricature printed, made of each other. They're going to be there from 2 to 4 this Saturday, the 22nd. Next, the Pennsylvania Career Link is hosting an unemployment compensation seminar. It's titled UC 101. It's going to be on Tuesday, February 25th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the course will cover claims, filing process, determination process, special appeal, and many other topics. It's going to be hosted at the Career Link. All right, there's an open call for artists. The Carbondale Heart and Soul with Carbondale Blueprint Communities are working together to install 6 15-by-15 murals in different locations throughout Carbondale. They're asking for people with artist backgrounds and who've possibly have done installations before to submit their resumes, and all the information is located on this form. Our Lackawanna County Conservation District is having their 2025 seedling sale. Apple trees, pear trees, peach trees, blueberry bushes, Colorado blue spruce trees, and many other items are going to be for sale for people to purchase once the weather warms up a little bit and the fall things out. So orders must begin by March 14th. And the pickup date is going to be April 25th. And it's all the information is located on this form. The Rail Riders University is promoting their 2025 summer camps for registrants 6 to 14 years old. The dates are on this flyer if anybody's interested, and I believe we have this posted on the TV. Thank to Mr. Voldenberg. June 17, 18, 19, July, and August are the months and dates that they're going to host the training program, and they have a very nice list of coaches and other instructors that are going to be a part of this. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is having their free or a free blood lead screening for 1-year-old to 6-year-olds with all the different chemicals that are being out there, being made and put into different products. It'd be a nice peace of mind to have, if you have or know of somebody who has a 1-year-old or 6-year-old, to get them tested to make sure they are in good health. There is a phone number on this form for you to call. They're asking for people to call and to schedule an appointment, and this program will go up and through this July 2025. Lastly is our county-wide summer internship program, looking for college-age students that have an interest in getting involved and working in government. The internship program will provide them skills, opportunity, goals. They'll be mentored, and they'll be able to work hopefully in a department related to their major that they are going to school for. And that's all I have at this time. Any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Next, Alan Lucas.
Good evening, Council. Alan Lucas, Scranton resident, President of the International Association of Firefighters, Local 60, representing the Scranton firefighters. I'm here to talk about a couple items today. One on your agenda, 5C, appointment of the City of Scranton's business administrator to the position of Chief Administrative Officer of its police, fire, and non-uniformed pension plans. I spoke to our pension board about this. They're speaking to their legal advisors on what should be happening here, because they've never had this situation with the business administrator before. There's laws that do discuss it. I know you guys are in talks on that. What I'd like to rehash and just remind everybody of is Tommy Morgan, retired Scranton firefighter, who's been waiting for years, 2 years now, and everybody knows this situation, is still not seated on the pension board. The city administration will not seat him, when we still can't figure out why. Once you guys determine what is coming with this legalities for having the business administrator on there, I'd implore you to maybe reach out again and try to get an answer, because I know you have. You've reached out many, many times for us. You're our voice, and we appreciate that. And I know you're not getting answers. They are now asking for you to approve something for them. It's almost like leverage, and if you could, use that as a leverage to get an answer as to when Tommy's being seated so the retirees are fairly represented. The next item I'd like to talk about is I briefly emailed council about this. Friday, the firefighters received an email from the administration that we're going to now be responding to Moscow in the North Pocono area on third alarm structure fires, Old Forage on any working structure fire, work structure fires, it's a fire, a house fire, and now the airport on an increased alarm about the request of Luzerne County. We got blindsided by this, the union. We had no idea. There was no talks. There was no communication. We have no idea what their plans are. And it's unfortunate because we're willing to work with them, and we want to help anybody that needs the help. But for the union side, we have concerns with safety, staffing, who's gonna fill in, are they gonna increase staffing for the department with these increased workloads, is it gonna increase response times? And again, it's a huge safety concern, not only for my membership, but for the residents of Scranton who we serve. Again, we're willing to work and help anybody that needs that help, but we're not getting communication from this administration, and it's sad. I have to come to you guys and air this public laundry out, and it shouldn't be this way. So if you guys could, please reach out to the administration. I'm sure will be willing to discuss it with me now that I've brought it up to the public, but if you guys could also get those answers. Now, I just want to stray away from my union side. I'm a taxpayer in the city of Scranton. I pay taxes for services, police, fire, DPW. My tax dollars are being used to go to places like Greenwood, Moscow, Old Forge, Luzerne County. Is the city being reimbursed for those services? Because Greenwood doesn't have a paid fire department, neither does Moscow. They use volunteer services, which is drastically understaffed right now. It's a nationwide problem. It's a problem here in PA. So we're using the tax dollars that I pay to help people that aren't paying for those. We encourage paid fire departments everywhere. So a bunch of other questions is going to be, who's paying the bill if a firefighter gets hurt at one of these fires? If they're on a long-term injury, is the borough of Moscow paying it? We're unsure. So that's my taxpayer question on that non-union side. That's all I have. If you guys have any questions, you guys know how to reach out to me. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you. Mr. Voldenberg, could we reach out and ask about how many calls or how much activity has gone to Music in Greenwood? And are we in fact being reimbursed for city apparatus being utilized outside of the city limits?
I will, sir.
Can we also ask the insurance question? If, God forbid, one of our firemen get injured fighting a fire in Hoosick or Greenwood or wherever else, Old Forge.
I will, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I'll speak more to this during fifth order.
Okay, John Litmus? John? Yes, John?
Evening, Council. John Thomas Scranton. As you know, a few times that I come here in the past, I'm a terrible speaker, so bear with me. I say, for the first 3 years of my life, I was an illegal immigrant living in Peckville, Pennsylvania. For 74 plus years, I'm a legalized citizen living in Scranton, PA. I hate to talk about the federal government. In the future, when I come here, it'll be strictly about city business. What's going on in Washington, D.C. is worrisome. You have a man there, Elon Musk, who's not voted by the people. And he's doing a lot of cutting. There's not much information. People are not being informed. You're talking about people who work in food security. USAID, as you heard about that, it's going to be jeopardized. And this continues, the future of our country is really going to be hurt. And I'm asking people listening to this broadcast tonight to text or email minority leaders, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Hartream Jeffers, Minority Leader in the Congress. Write to them, text them, email, whatever way you want to inform them. Get Elon Musk out of Washington, D.C., off the grounds. Don't even let him allow him in the parking lot. This man, just can't describe. He's not there legally. Let's put it that way. So I'm asking the people to do that. Very appreciative of that. And I already, Mr. McAndrew and Mr. Schuster, I want to thank you for your help. And everybody have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for our sign-in sheet. Anyone else wish to address council?
Tom Coyne, Manuka. Are there currently any members of council on the Public Safety Commission? Gift cards. Have we gotten any response back on the gift cards that were handed out?
I'll report out the 5th.
Thank you. The 24th is entering the 4th year for the war in Ukraine. Do we have any idea if we're going to fly the Ukraine flag outside
Yes.
for the anniversary?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Happy thoughts. There was some comments last week about depressing, disparaging, sad comments that always come forward and drag the meetings down. Unfortunately, that's part of redressing your government. Part of redressing your government is bringing complaints forward that you have to bring attention to them. I understand that there's a desire for nice pats on the head and loving, you've done a wonderful job. But a lot of people come up here because there hasn't been a wonderful job. We've had decades of floods and problems with the water system that are being corrected because of an influx of money from Washington, not from anything here. It's being done and that's great, but it's not miraculous when you've waited 20, 30, 40 years for it. It should have been done long ago. Have we gotten any response back on the street sign stickers? For a while ago, we were talking about instead of putting up street signs, maybe we can get the pricing on street sign stickers. Council brought it up. Council put it forward. Council asked for the administration to go, well, how about these stickers put up so we can just get them up there quickly rather than contracting out? And I've never heard anything back from that. All I heard back from is, let's subcontract it out to another company to do the work from out of the area and pay them, not our own people. And don't answer the good questions from the community who say, have we looked into this and done cost benefits for fixing the street signs quickly and easily rather than looking at the standard route? When driving home last week from council, down South Washington Avenue in front of the, where the IGA was, the Southside Shopping Center, what struck me was potholes. Why did it strike me? Because I took the second to realize as I was driving, I'm looking directly in front of my car, directly down as I'm driving, to dodge the potholes in the street. And by trying to dodge all of the potholes in the street that would rip my tires apart because of how deep they are, I'm not paying attention to people crossing in front of me. I'm not paying attention to lights or traffic because I'm focused 6 feet in front of my car because of the road. I no longer have the perception of looking down the road to avoid accidents and obstacles because I'm focused 6 feet in front, 3 to 6 feet in front of my car. How is it safe to leave the road surface so destroyed and so left, and we'll wait for it for 7 years because a utility is eventually going to come and fix it? Or we patch it and the patch gets ripped out repeatedly. People get hit by cars because you're not looking forward ahead of you. And this is not done because people are looking at their car radio. It's because people are looking at the potholes so they don't drive the front end of their car into them. It's a hazard that should have been corrected long ago. There's a problem that this body never makes legislation itself. It always waits for it to come down from the administration. You can draft it, you can make it, you can put it forward. Congress doesn't have the White House send down their bills to do. They actually make their own because they're the legislative branch. I would love to see something come from this body. And I still would like an answer on the Christmas lights at Naog. How come the contract wasn't done and $80,000 was paid out? And last was we talked about the trash contract with, I don't know why we're even looking at that. And in a good company, they had said in the meeting that we're stuck with it, it's difficult, we'd have to rebuild everything. Other companies, when this happens, you know what they do? They hire a company to build an app. If it can't be done in-house, hire a company to build an app for the city spec, and be done with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Council. My name is Lynn Lebrowski, Scranton homeowner, small business owner. A couple things tonight. I did want to mention the homeless, because on a frigid night like tonight and what we're looking forward to in the next few days, it really breaks your heart that there's not enough shelters for the homeless, or that they're not open long enough. So that's something that gets brought up all the time, and maybe we could find solutions for that. The traffic pattern, my husband got up a couple weeks ago, spoke about that down, where the Elm Street Bridge is taking place and the detour. I mean, in my opinion, the lines on the road when you're coming down from Railroad Ave toward South Washington, you have a straight and a turning lane on the left, you have a straight and a turning lane on the right. You can't really make out which way the arrows are going. If two people went straight, there'd be a collision, so that doesn't make much sense. But the traffic is backed up to Railroad Ave, it's backed up to McDonald's, and then tonight I saw two police officers down there with their lights on, and now we're using police resources to direct traffic down there, so maybe there's a better solution. And then as far as the potholes, I agree. South Washington Ave is a stinking mess, and we own an auto repair business, so we had a customer with 2 flat tires that was delivering parts, and on his way he had to get towed because he hit a pothole and ended up with 2 flat tires, so that's unfortunate. I did want to mention for a friend that reached out to me that the West Side Little League behind Burger King is looking for a lot of help. I know the city's not required to help them. They always did help with the Little League fields years in the past. I don't know what happened lately, but they are looking for help. They need new underground water lines. They have paving projects. They're looking to get new roofs. They have a lot of trees they have to cut. They could use like a skid steer or something to mulch some of the wood and stuff like that. So if anybody out there knows of anyone or can help, I know the guy that is on the board there, his name is Ryan Kahanik. You can reach out to him. They're also looking for a stop sign there for safety and some other upgrades. And they've also done a lot of upgrades so far. But I know it's cold, but spring is coming. And if, anybody could help out with that, we did help them clean the field last year, a bunch of volunteers. So I know our community likes to volunteer and do things, so if anybody out there is interested in that. Also, they're looking for donations for scoreboards, because the current scoreboards that they're using are more than 40 years old. So if anybody could keep that in mind or reach out to your resources, that'd be great. So moving on, what I would like to do tonight is kind of just give a public service announcement, because there's a really important election coming up this year. Primaries May 20th. I've been engaging with a lot of people in the community, and a lot of people don't realize that PA has closed primaries. So independents cannot vote in primaries. You have to vote your party. I know some people know this, but maybe there's some people out there that don't realize. So when you receive your ballot in May, you'll either receive a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot. But what some people don't realize is that if you believe in a candidate and they're not on your party or running on your ticket, you can write them in. That is an option. A lot of people aren't aware of that. So a Republican could write in a Democrat, and a Democrat could write in a Republican. They don't have to switch their party. So I just wanted to mention that. And I'm saying this because 3 years ago in the 2021 municipal election, I want to say 13,500 people voted total in the general. That's independents, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or whatever have you. I found out today that there are 45,000 registered voters in Scranton. So 13,500 would come to approximately 30% of people in Scranton that are registered actually vote it. Maybe some people don't believe that local elections count or that they're important, but my public service announcement would be to get to know your candidates, decide for yourself, and if you want to vote for somebody that isn't your party, you can write them in. Okay? That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Virgil Argenta. The City of Scranton received a significant allocation of $68.7 million from the American Rescue Plan. This is a substantial amount of money. It was aimed at supporting and revitalizing the community in various impactful ways. We have 3 councilmen up for re-election. Can you tell us tonight what projects were done for the improvement of the City of Scranton? I'm sure the allocation and distribution of these funds have been meticulously planned with priority given to essential service and development initiatives. It would be fair to say that City Council has ensured that the funds are distributed transparently and effectively. We can also be sure that the distribution of the funds can be accessed through official public records and on the city website. False. Can we also agree that Council and the administration would make sure that interest was occurred on the ARPA funds? Council, do you have a dollar amount on the interest received on $68.7 million?
I think it was $1 million the last time we were told.
Can we trust that these funds were managed prudently and that any interest earned is reported and accounted for, including the financial institutions holding these funds? Do we know where these funds are held? And the specific city accounts that are available for public viewing, and how this interest money is spent, and who is spending this money. Can we be assured that the ARPA funds have been allocated for various projects and services regarding public health initiatives, infrastructure improvements, economic support programs, even community development programs, and that these funds were utilized to enhance the quality of life for Scranton residents, ensuring that the community thrives in these challenging times? I don't see any improvement. There is no question the council made sure the administration had detailed records on specific expenditures, including how and where the funds have been spent. And we're sure that you are all aware $86,000 went to Pappy's Kitchen and closed a week later. We can trust with 3 councilmen up for re-election that you are dedicated to ensuring that every dollar of the ARPA funds we used effectively and transparently for the betterment of the city of Scranton and the residents. Mr. Smurl, you're familiar with Code Blue? Code Blue? Good. And you're aware of Parks and Recreation overtime over budget, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you still not know why Park and Recreation OT is over budgeted? We'll let you ponder on that one. What's next? Are we going to have our police departments doing highway patrols, working the turnpikes? Are you guys ever going to stand up for the fire department, the police department, and the DPW unions and make sure that they're not getting bullied by the administration? Council, would you be in favor of Crime Watch and neighborhood groups as another tool to help law enforcement? Or if things didn't go your way or the way that you wanted to hold your meetings, would you just disband them and start all over again? Have a nice night, Council.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Mike Mancini, Scranton. I ask that anyone who cares about our city pay close attention to the disrespect by your current council choices. Many of us appear weekly to ask important questions, not for ourselves, but for those who gave up because mediocrity has gotten the best of you. It doesn't have to be like this in this very important election cycle. There are other choices. However, I believe the run for office, for council or even mayor, you must appear, respect the process, speak your mind, and dislike crickets. Voting along party lines has put the city into something unrecognizable. This is not the city that I remember. I see people, not parties. People are struggling. I feel as if our city is starving for good people to come along who truly care about its citizens, humbled by each experience, willing to always do the right thing, putting the good people of Scranton above themselves. Pay attention to the disrespectful nature of each council member when they ignore important questions concerning our wonderful city. Tonight, we're going to play a little game. Since you want to play games and not answer questions, tonight, on the question, why is ARPA link on page 4 of the title page buried without accountability? It's not within federal standards or requirements. What are each of you and the mayor trying to hide? Scranton Police Department has no drug task force specific to drugs. The county and regional drug task forces must pick up the slack. This is concerning. Is this concerning for each of you? It's important to the good people of Scranton. It needs to be addressed. Unwanted deaths related to drugs. Did you know that locally the city does not follow through and no one gets prosecuted? My only child, an active Marine, passed away due to fentanyl. These keep continuing. His case is continued. Difference is the one at fault was prosecuted. So many families locally do not get this type of closure. I've spoken with a few families, quite a few, who've lost loved ones. They do not get that closure. How does that make you feel, not having a drug task force, not being on top of things? I'm very hopeful that our new district attorney, Gallagher, will work hard to address the very important issues, just like this one. Our police officers and first responders see unwanted deaths far too often. Our pave cuts have yet to be addressed. Mid-Atlantic and Pittston struck it rich with a $500,000 contract. Problem is they have no clue as to what to do. We pulled Rubicon in, $32,000. I think $500,000 is more important. It needs to be addressed. They need to come before council. Simply because I'm guessing that the mayor will point the finger at the company for our poor roads. Well, we continue to see Puxatawny Page's shadow only half the time. I do believe that there are more questions than answers about the sewer authority. I certainly do. I want answers. The current solicitor was part of that legal team, sold our most important asset. Who's the director when it was sold? Street formerly known as Spruce. This is something that needs to be voted on by all, not 5 people. Thoughts? Crickets once again. One pool at Naog. I encourage that anyone who has questions about the one shallow pool, talk to the foreman there who's doing the work. He's honest, unlike the 5 people here at council. Any one of you could be replaced. None of you are undefeated. There are 75,000 citizens in the city. There are only 5 of you. I can care less what each of you simply think because you choose not to answer questions and just follow through with your just prepared statements. Speak from the heart. Step up. Show that you care like I have tonight. I operate on a different level. There are so many right things and wrong things to do things. Perfect example is Flynn versus the city of Scranton. Mr. King, you mentioned millions of dollars in savings, just enough to pay that off because of the mayor's wrongdoing. I cannot sit back and watch as mediocrity continues to be the norm in our city. We deserve better. I believe there's no one better suited for mayor than myself. I will not watch a circus with new clowns. I will announce it on a day very important to our city and myself. May 20th is the primary election day. It's also my son's birthday. I care about our city. I care about our people. I care about our future. I will start knocking at doors in March. As an independent, I will take the first round bye. I will always be very humble. It'll be quite an experience. Our city truly deserves better. Change is coming. God bless our city residents. God bless the city of Scranton and our employees.
Thank you.
Good evening, council.
Anyone else?
Thanks. You can leave it here, I guess. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Rick Little from Scranton. I just passed out 3 articles from today's paper. On the back page, you know, there's an article, Trump targets growing list as they're seen as disloyal. This article is written by the New York Times. I'd like to explain again to everybody that lives here that the New York Times has taken millions of dollars from USAID for all kinds of political things. Same with Reuters, same with AP. All the information that most of the people are reading is media things that have been taken out of their tax dollars and paid propaganda. The article behind that is Bresnahan vows to buck GOP and vote against deep cuts in many benefits. There's a lot of rumors going around that this DOGE thing, Department of Government Efficiency, is going to take away your Social Security. I can assure everybody that that is not the case. Point in fact, there's so many people, they're finding out through DOGE that there's so many people that are collecting millions of dollars a day, some of them with security numbers that are 300 years old, more than 300 years old. There's like 1 million people that are over 150 years old. This is the BS that has been going on with Social Security, and I'm talking about real Social Security, not just your Social Security. I'm talking about the federal government Social Security everybody pays into. And the other one is the other article is federal firings reach Scranton. And this is written by the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nobody in Scranton wrote this. But they have all these positions that that the powers to be have to be filled, and they take the federal money. That's what it's about, taking federal money from the top to the bottom, going through the state, county, and local. Now, I've been fighting for my Social Security really hard for 5 years. I lived just under 15 years at Scranton Housing Authority and Adams High Rise. I had no privacy. They're just coming in my door anytime they wanted. They have a lease. It's supposed to be supported by the 1951 Landlord-Tenant Act in the lease, but they got all these judges in their pocket. It doesn't even matter. They can put into this public housing whoever they want, and they can take out whoever they want. And they took me out on February 5th last year. I've been homeless. And it's cold out there, and the system isn't working. I've done everything I can to try to get housing. And they have a scam going where they're selling county housing, and everybody's in on it. The social workers at Department of Aging, you know, yeah, we have housing, and they're talking about, what they were talking about is the shelter that has 20 beds for men or women there, and it's crazy. And the safety thing is Project Blue or Code Blue, and that's Keystone, that's these charities, like, they're getting charities to do their work, but they're taking all the money. They're taking all the American Rescue Act money. They stole my part of that money, ERAP, and God has talked to me and told me that I have to become the mayor of Scranton to fix this. And it's a, I'm going online, and I'm finding that, even the forms, after going through all the forms for the judicial branch, all the court watching I did and things, it's rigged, it's messed up there, but I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to follow God's plan.
Thank you. Anyone else?
How you doing? Daniel McGovern, resident, New York Street. I was here approximately 4 months ago in October requesting a stop sign, a four-way intersection on Capalos and New York. I was told it would take a few weeks to maybe a couple months to do a traffic study. Nothing's been done. It's been about 4 months. Where can I go from here?
Mr. Voldenberg, can you find out if that was completed?
I'll reach out to the city engineer in the morning.
How long should a traffic study take?
I'm not sure of their workload, but I'll get an answer for you tomorrow, sir.
Not that long.
Okay. Could it have come back just insufficient, inadequate, not needed? Any of that?
I think we would have been notified if it came back.
We would have been. Yeah.
Yes.
We gave them all the specifics that you advised us.
Okay.
He'll call tomorrow, and tomorrow, whatever their answer is, we can get it back to him.
Definitely.
Who conducts this traffic study?
That would be the city engineer.
The city engineer?
City engineer and the Scranton Police Department.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Sorry, we'll make sure we get
thank
to
you.
it.
It's just a major concern of mine. It's the only intersection in this residential neighborhood that does not have a four-way stop or a traffic signal.
That's correct, Mr. McGovern. We referenced all the bus stops and the new Penn Ridge playground is under construction. So if you leave your phone number with Kathy, I'll give you a call in the morning.
Certainly. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Council. Dave Dobson, resident taxpayer. I've been mentioning this for years, and if people want to really improve Scranton, take on the tax exempt with the state. They are the ones requiring us to host these parties at tax exempt. We're at 40%. It's excessive, and it's a huge burden on Scranton. And it wouldn't be we tried a tax-paying hospital about 8 or 10 years ago, and where are we here? They're underwater. They're talking about closing. I was discharged after 4 days with bleeding ulcers from the critical care. I didn't get to go upstairs, and I really wasn't interested. I was just glad to get out of there. I've had vascular angioplasties done and released the same day. Right up my alley, but I know how to take care of myself. So, these tax-exempt organizations, we hear about all these complaints, but if you really want to do anything for Scranton, get yourself a board together and be mindful that if public officials did it, they'd probably be out for retaliation. Now, we just heard about how the federal government's so evil with their money. Well, several people were fired from Steamtown, which is supposed to be a museum to attract tourists and all kinds of stuff to Scranton. It's been half dead in the water for 2 years because the heating system blew up on them, or pipes collapsed. And 5 people were dismissed last Saturday. So they weren't even open yesterday. I don't know what I'll have to call down there tomorrow and see what the conditions are. But I don't think they're going to be good. And by the way, people are resigning all over because of Elon Musk. And, you know, it's like, oh, Donald, you're so doge. Yeah. National Nuclear Regulatory Commission, in control of our nuclear forces, have been dismissed. 300 people. They're cleaning up the Hanford nuclear plant in Washington, which is heavily polluted, the tanks corroded, all kinds of tritium and all kinds of nuclear waste got out into the soil, and it's traveling down towards the rivers. And, you know, bird flu. Oh, yesterday a bunch of people were dismissed working on bird flu from Health and Human Services or whoever, disease control. And they can't call these people back because they're shut down on their computers. They can't even call these people back. You know, how far is this going to go? People approach me about the city, and it's just like I hear stuff that the mayor doesn't live here, and she, in fact, does live here. And by the way, Elon Musk is $8 million a day from the federal government. $8 million a day. And by the way, they also, I warned you people, I should have some money sent to me. I'm a prophet. I warned you people about money being taken back from the federal government. Well, in New York City, they withdrew $80 million out of their account that was already afforded. It's being called clawback, and maybe we're in a lot of trouble here. You know, if Donald Trump is your judgment, don't ask me for a vote, because I don't trust your judgment. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you. Anyone else? I think it looks to be it, Mr. Voldenberg.
Fifth order, 5A motions.
Mr. King, do you have any motions or comments?
I just want to mention the press conference we had the other day with the mayor and yourself, Mr. Smurl, County Commissioner Bill Gahn, to begin the fight against the U.S. or UGI rate hike. We're hoping to work with our state representatives and state senators and other local politicians, along with the citizens, to try to fight this like we did the Pennsylvania American Water Company rate increase. So we'll continue that good fight. Let's see. I mentioned earlier if we could just check up on that actual meeting with the PA ambulance and the fire chief and the city administration to talk about the EMS situation. I would appreciate that. I'll also try to get a detailed list of all the accomplishments with the over $67 million of ARPA funds that were delivered through the Biden administration. And I know off the top of my head, $23 million has gone towards stormwater remediation. You know, in West Scranton, those projects are ongoing. East Mountain, it's going to be Manuka. I think parts of North Scranton as well. So there's that. We're also $18 million has been dedicated toward improvements of parks, All you have to do is drive by Naog. You could see the construction going on up there. Weston Field is getting a new pool, skate park. Connell Park's getting a new pool.
Mr. Genta, you had your time, please.
I listened to you. Now you got to listen to me.
You're finished. No, you're not speaking now. You'll be quiet. Officer?
You might not like what I have to say. I might not like what you have to say, but I didn't interrupt you. Simple as that. It's called respect. It's all we ask for. So, at the end of the day, I will get as many details as I possibly can. I know that we gave small business loans out to, or grants out to many small businesses. But I'll get as large as a detailed list as possible so that I can present it here before all of you. But I think a lot has been accomplished. You look at the Oakmont Park, Robinson Park in East Mountain. They're doing the park over on Capous Avenue. So when we improve parks, we improve neighborhoods. There's been paving that has happened all throughout the city. There's a lot more to do, no doubt about that. But regardless of what is said here, a lot has been accomplished over the last 3 or 4 years. So, and I'm proud of that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Schuster, do you have any motions or comments?
I'll reiterate some of what Mr. King said. $23 to $24 million went into stormwater after previous councils sold the sewer authority. It is the city's duty to take over stormwater, and the money that came in from the American Rescue Plan, 23 to 24, that is going towards stormwater, $18 million to parks. The city hired Answer Advisory to take on that, and Fidelity Bank is handling the accounts. Moving on through fifth order items, we spoke in caucus about the zoning board. A few months ago, the zoning board came in with some amendments that I believe council should make to the zoning ordinance, one being the size of apartments in the city of Scranton, one being the parking spaces that are allowed per unit, but several other things. The zoning board, since the ordinance has passed, has been working with some gray areas, and I think it is council's duty to clean those areas up. We suggested having a meeting with the zoning board next time they meet and going into, I guess, their home field to speak with them on that. So I do think it's something that council needs to address, and we'll be meeting with them soon. Mr. Voldenberg is going to be reaching out to them. Mr. Voldenberg does know about several inquiries I made about properties around the city, so I'm waiting on some answers for that. I do have some Airbnb updates, and the Meadowbrook residents who had a pretty positive meeting, I'd say 2 weeks ago, are waiting for some updates from Morgan Fetzak and Eileen Cipriani. They did say that the design work that they saw, they were in agreement with. However, it needed to be updated in the actual plan, and they were just waiting on those updates. So I did send some communication to Eileen and Morgan that I included you in on, Frank. And as soon as we get that, those residents are just waiting on those design plans to move ahead in Meadowbrook. Other than that, that's all for fifth order for tonight from me.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Mr. McAndrew, do you have any motions or comments?
I got a couple. So as far as a breakdown, of the ARPA funds, on the city's website, there is a timeline of distribution and allocations and the breakdown of them. I saw it the other day. I'm hoping it's still there, but I did see it. And it should still be there. So what concerns me is what Union President Mr. Luke, or firefighter Mr. Lucas brought up tonight about expanding services. I'm here long enough where when the discussion of the benefits administrator, where there was a committee that formed by union members, didn't have a seat at the table. I'm here long enough, too, when they bought a new apparatus that they really didn't have an input or a seat at the table because they'd be the most affected by utilizing this apparatus. No seat at the table. So it looks like to me, again, that without having the union sit down, boots on the ground, and discuss, like what Mr. Lucas said, expanding services and assists, which is fine. Guess what? But we take care of home first. And is there enough staffing for it? to safely do it. I know they want to expand Luzerne County with the airport, and any fire truck that goes to an airport can't be good. That has to be devastating, and I hope it never happens. But that's not assisting with a barn burning or something. So I'm okay with assisting as long as it's done right, as long as the men affected the most, and ladies, of the fire department have a seat at the table and part of this discussion. And from what I received in this email, it's not happening. But it's not happened before, where the boots on the ground or are very talented. I think we have one of the best fire departments in the state. There's no argument there. But are they staffed adequately to take on more responsibility outside the city? And another good point made was, are we being reimbursed? And guess what? I know I asked this once before. When them fire bills were flying around the city, residents being charged, and I asked about assist outside in other municipalities, and they said, oh, well, no, it's a trade-off. But I don't see an equal trade-off with the boroughs that we're helping. I don't think they need us, so I don't see the capacity for them to come and assist us. So they should be reimbursed. We should be reimbursed. Because I remember a poor lady who had a mulch fire around her garage where the fire department went and put it out, and they used the lady's own garden hose, was charged. A resident was charged. And we're not charging boroughs? And in regards to liability, I do recall recently, so we can get an answer about someone getting hurt and what happens, because I do remember recently a captain went out to Newton and had cardiac arrest. So how was that handled? There's an example. Can we get an answer for that? How did that turn out? Or with regards to liability and reimbursement. So we have a lot of questions, and I hope that the administration listens to us, and because this is important. It's important for our residents. It's important for the safety of our firefighters. They're not spread too thin. So, I know we just got this email, so please reach out to administration and ask these questions.
I will, sir.
All right, and the rationale for doing this, and how is it going to be manned? Is it cost effective? Is there going to have to be overtime? We have enough staffing? This could be bigger than it is. So once again, it's another example where the union don't have a seat at the table and should. And his other issue that he brought up about not having that person, Mr. Morgan, seated in that seat, even though he's been I'll speak to that during one of the resolutions. All right, and let me see, I think that's all I have. No, I'm sorry, I have to report out on asking a couple weeks about the credit card program. What I did get back was we did a soft launch, meaning they did a soft launch of the program in December, distributing award notices, but no gift cards to date. We are now retooling the process for around in early spring. So after getting this and inquiring more, I was told that they didn't receive the cards until December. So it was, they were awarded, so now my understanding is they're going to distribute them or in that process. But I don't know that for sure, so if we can follow up with that and make sure it's in motion, just to reiterate.
I will, sir.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. I've received a few inquiries about blighted properties, and one especially, rear 1111 Blair Avenue, that was on fire 5 years ago. And the people are wondering, what are we doing and what are our plans moving forward with blighted properties and, I guess, condemned buildings. I know we did start a vacant properties review committee, but I believe that we were supposed to be formed by the end of February this month, but I have not heard anything yet. And the receivership program that I took to the administration, we were supposed to be moving forward with that also. So, Mr. Voldenberg, if you can find out from Ms. Martindale, I believe she's the one that's organizing this entire thing.
That's
if
correct.
our law department has completed all of our prep work so that we can actually open this up and start.
So rear 1111 of Blair is on the demolition list?
Yeah,
I think
for years,
For
yeah.
years. I think we need to get an actual date of when is this demo occurring?
That's what this new board is supposed to be doing. So as soon as we get formed, which they said was, I believe it was February, Mr. Voldenberg. I think that's what they sent us last, but I haven't heard anything, so if we can reach out and find
Right,
out.
we were to hear in February for an early March meeting.
Okay. Well, we need to move
haven't heard.
a little bit faster.
Okay.
Can I throw in on that one again? So can we get a date for demo on rear 1111? I know you were in several emails with me over the last probably 3 years.
Very familiar with the property, yes.
Yeah, and weren't we given assurance that it was going to be
No,
demoed?
it's a priority on the list, but we don't yet have the list.
Okay. If we could find that out.
I will.
Thank you. Also, up on 307, they had a building that was all redone over, and it was used as a rehab center or something. But I went by in there, now it is all boarded up, and there's big, heavy equipment outside. So can you ask code enforcement, what are they doing up there? I don't know if they have permits or whatever, but there's a ton of work going on up there, and I thought that building was already completely finished, and it was in use already, but it's actually boarded up and shut down with a lot of equipment sitting outside. So if we just find out.
I will. They do have all the proper permits, but the work is stalled. I'll find out why.
Okay, we just find out what their intention is. Are they changing what they went to zoning for? And if so, we need to know that also. The other thing I was asked about were the phones in the foyer. The phone in the foyer coming into the main entrance building has been replaced today, and the new pad is there with all the contacts. Also, they added the computer down in the foyer so that everyone can have access to the city's website at that point. They also have another computer in licensing and inspection, and that will get you on access to OpenGov, so that if you have to go in there and do any work with permits or whatever, you can actually go in there and do that now. And those two things are finished as of this afternoon. And as far as opening the entrance to City Hall, because that seems to be a question every week. So I did a little research, but currently in Pennsylvania, the law prohibits city governments from regulating possession and transportation of firearms and ammunition. So what that means to City Hall is City Council nor the administration have any power to restrict anybody from coming into this building with a firearm or any weapon. So although you cannot take a firearm or weapon into Lackawanna County Courthouse, Magistrate's Office, schools, any United States Postal Service, any Capitol building, colleges, university, this list goes on and on and on, but it does not include City Hall. So I don't know why you can bring a gun into City Hall, and that's legal, and why you cannot take it into any other place, no state buildings, federal buildings, or anything. So we have to actually provide a safe work environment for everyone, and allowing people to walk into here with a weapon. And I've heard times that people were sitting in their offices when people came back from lunch and just sitting at their desks. So that's totally unacceptable. I did ask a bunch of people in this building how they felt about opening the building back up, and not one of them agreed. It is a scary situation when you're stuck into a building and there's no way out. So if we want to change that law, it is a state law. So if there's anything we can do, I would suggest, Mr. Voldenberg, if you can send a request into Senator Marty Flynn and ask him if he would have any problem with looking into this concern and seeing if there's anything that he can do as a state senator to maybe change the rules and make this a little better, safer work environment, because I don't see it as being safe with the doors wide open. Although everything is wide open, anytime there's a meeting or there's anything, and to get into the building, all you've got to do is pick up the phone outside or right in the foyer. And I know for a fact Mr. Voldenberg goes down there multiple times during a week to bring people in that want to speak. So top thing here is the safety of all the employees. So we have to consider that before we can just let the doors be open. And of course, that's my opinion, not the other council people's, and I will leave it at that. That's all.
5B for introduction, an ordinance approving and authorizing the acquisition by easement agreements, deed in lieu of condemnation, or otherwise of the necessary rights, franchises, licenses, easements, or titles of land required for permanent and temporary easements in order to complete the Kaiser Valley Flood Protection Project, Group 1 of easements, and authorizing the filing of a declaration of taking pursuant to Section 302 of the eminent domain code if required.
At this time, entertain a motion that item 5B be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, I asked in caucus, just have the residents, can we reach out to the administration, see, have the residents been informed of the work and given a timeline of when the work will be started and completed?
I will, sir.
All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and so moved.
5C for introduction, a resolution, appointment of the City of Scranton's business administrator to the position of Chief Administrative Officer of its police, fire, and non-uniform pension plans.
At this time, entertain a motion that item 5C be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
And we don't have a second.
If it was seconded, then I was going to ask to table it. So,
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to second it, just so we could have a discussion on the topic.
Okay.
So I will second it, and I will support your motion to table. So second.
Okay, so we have a motion to second, or a motion and a second. So on, and you will do the motion to...
on the question, then, since it was seconded, I'm going to make a motion to table it, and the reason I want to table it is I want an answer on the situation with Tom Morgan getting seated. When he gets put in place, I'll be glad to bring this back up.
Thank you, Mr. King. I second that motion to table.
When there's a motion and a second, then the motion, something has to happen on it. If nothing happens, there's nothing to table.
Repeat, I didn't hear you there.
I said if there's not a vote on the motion, there's nothing to table. The motion didn't pass.
All right, so the motion's been moved and seconded. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
I would like to second that motion to table it because, as we discussed before, there is a retired individual who has not been seated on the pension board, and at this point in time, we're being asked to seat a member of the administration on that pension board, and before we take that action to seat this individual from the administration on this board, I would like to see that the retired firemen get their representation on the board so that board could work properly, as last month a 2-2 vote that tied and failed one of their pieces of legislation shows that this board cannot operate efficiently if there's not a retired member of the SFD on it.
Attorney Gilbride, are you suggesting that on fifth order introduction, you can't table something?
You can, but it has to be tabled once it passes.
Gotcha.
Because there's not, if it doesn't pass, it doesn't exist. There's nothing.
Right, right. Okay. So it needs to be voted on, since there was a motion made, it was seconded. It needs to be voted on affirmatively, so that now it's on the table. Then we can table it.
Correct.
Okay, so on the question, no matter how we're going to do this. So this resolution is for us to approve the business administrator to these pension boards, all right? First of all, I looked up, and it refers to Act 205 of 1984, right? So it's a requirement. But as long as I'm here, I've never seen this come before me before, this type of resolution. So, but funny that we're talking about this now, but I got a letter today from the Auditor General. We all did. And part of their yearly audit is the pensions. And it didn't say in detail, so I'm assuming in detail that maybe this was one of the findings. Maybe they didn't have a person or the BA, whoever's supposed to do it, formally appointed. And that's why we got this legislation, right? So they're quick to appoint that. So they want us right now to appoint the business administrator to all the pension boards, right? We're trying to get a guy, a retired firefighter, Mr. Morgan, who's been selected and put up multiple times to the mayor and the administration to put him in a seat, all right? And I hope the public realizes, because sometimes residents come here and say we're doing nothing with regards to that. We've been talking about this and doing the best we can, because we don't select, we're not part of the selection process. It's the mayor's decision. There's nothing we can do to actually put him in that seat except what we're doing right now. Maybe use a little leverage. Maybe sometimes that's the only power we have. So I agree with tabling this until we get a solid answer or he's in that seat.
On the question, so if you agree with that, then we need to vote affirmatively to introduce it so that then we can table it.
Okay, right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, on the question to be introduced into its proper committee is what we're going to ask first. So all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved. So now on the tabling. Motion to
I'd like to
table.
make a motion to table.
I'll second that.
5C.
Okay.
5C, correct.
5C. So we have a motion and a second on the question.
I think I covered the question, on the question.
So we're all good on the question?
I think we've all covered the question.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved. Mr. Gilbride, is that proper?
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you.
5D for introduction of resolution, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to approve the execution and submission of the grant reimbursement agreement between the City of Scranton and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for funds estimated to be approximately $1,110,200 from the Multimodal Transportation Fund grant to be used towards the replacement of the Ash Street Bridge.
At this time, entertain a motion that item 5D be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question. All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and so moved.
Sixth order, 6A, reading by title, filed to Council Number 57, 2025, an ordinance approving and authorizing the acquisition of easement agreements, deed in lieu of condemnation, or otherwise of the necessary rights, franchises, licenses, easements, or titles of land required for permanent and temporary easements in order to complete the East Mountain Stormwater and Drainage Improvements Project, Group 1 of easements, and authorizing the filing of a declaration of taking pursuant to Section 302 of the Eminent Domain Code, if required.
You have heard reading by title of item 6A. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6A pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, there's five residents on this particular ordinance, and it's the same question I had for item 5B. Can we just find out, have the residents been informed, and have they been informed when the work will start and what the timeline will be on that work?
I will, sir.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
Seventh order, 7A, for consideration by the Committee on Rules for Adoption, filed to Council Number 56, 2025, increasing crossing guard compensation to $30 per day effective January 1st, 2025.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7A.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7A legally and lawfully adopted.
7B, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for Adoption, Resolution Number 178, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into any and all documents necessary to purchase the properties situated at the southwest corner of the intersection of Albright Avenue and Marion Street in the city of Scranton, Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania, having a parcel identification number as noted.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7B.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7B legally and lawfully adopted.
Eighth order, 8A, resolution number 177, 2025.
A public hearing was held this evening for the liquor license transfer. It will be placed in 7th order next week for a final vote. If there is no further business, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.